Hey traders, John Howell here, and in today's video, man, I'm loving these markets. How exciting are these markets, guys? I love them. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the stock market and why I actually see we're about to see that short-term pullback in the markets, silver and gold. And as you can see, gold has actually started that pullback that I've been saying for the last couple of days. We're probably likely to see, and it's exactly what's been happening right now. So nailed that one. Go look at gold stocks. Also going to be teaching you one powerful chart reading or trading technique to use in your trading if you want to have a bit more of an advantage, a bit more odds on your side of being of having a successful trade in the market. Also going to be talking about some of the top tech stocks that I'm looking at right now and that I'm seeing right now. I'm just going to go through a bunch of them and see what they're doing or what they're saying. And also I'm going to talk about the one stock you should never short right now or you should never bet against. If you're betting against this company, you better be holding on to your horses because you may be right for the short term, but over the next 12 months, you're going to get your head handed to you. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so let's get straight into it. But before I do start, guys, I've been getting so many people asking me about my coaching program and when is it going to open back up again and all that sort of stuff. And they've been losing money and they really need help. And frankly, the actual coaching program is closed. It's actually normal investment is $10,000, but it's actually closed right now. But what I'm going to be doing for 2 people only is allowing you, I've been seeing so many emails, my inbox has been getting flooded with people asking me to help them out. So what I'm going to do right now is, as a way of saying thank you for being my subscriber, is for the very first 2 people only are going to get my private weekly coaching program for 75% off. That's only $2,500. Start straight away and end at the end of the year. That very first link in the description, click on that. It'll take you over to the order page. And on that order page, also walk you through the details of what goes into the coaching program. And if it's right for you, then go do that right now. Now, if you click on the link below and it takes you over the next page and it says, sorry, sold out, then the 2 spots are already taken. If it's still there, then you know there's a 1 or 2 spots taken up. But how many people? I've been getting so many emails that this will be getting taken up really quickly. So go click on that right now, guys. Go check it out. If it's right for you, then join that right now. But for the rest of you guys, let's get straight into today's video. Stock market, stock market, stock market, stock market, right? Stock market. I see a short-term pullback coming right now. So you can see how on the Dow Jones, we rallied, hit this resistance, we rallied down, hit this resistance. And so now we're just doing right now, we're just sort of just going sideways through here. And you can see how it's actually rejected off this level here once again today, right? You can see how it actually, isn't that fascinating? That was the point there. It actually ran up, rejected today and came down. We're just going sideways right now. And so you can see how there's actually a bit of a short-term resistance through here. If I go to my hourly chart, you'll be able to see that a lot more. But this is the level through here, as you can see, from there to there. As you can see how we just we're sort of in this sort of triangle pattern through here. Well, if we start to break below here, you can see there's actually a bit of a volume spike. That was because of the end of day there. But I do see we're probably likely to break out of this sort of short-term little sort of pennant here and probably actually start the breakdown. Now, guys, I don't know for sure if the breakout is going to happen. I am sensing that we're probably likely to see a bit of a short-term pullback. But if we do see the pullback, it's probably only going to be short-lived. We may even come back down to test these lows back through here. Either way, guys, we're forming this here is a bit of a bottoming pattern right now. And even if we did get a bit of a pullback, I don't see it being too much. And what I mean by that is that I don't see it completely breaking past these previous lows and continuing down. We may come down and test the lows, maybe even slightly break it, but I do see this thing ultimately rallying back to the upside. So a short-term pullback, guys, get ready for it. If it happens, be ready for it. I'm still long these markets right now, by the way, guys. I have options and so on and so forth going because I do see that even if we did get that short-term pullback, which is likely to happen, I see this thing rallying back up at least of a 50 to a 60% retracement of this move. Anyhow, same for the the S&P 500, right? Look at this S&P 500. Hit resistance, came up, went sideways. We hit this resistance level. We're right around this resistance level here. This is a long-term sort of a resistance level here as well. And you can see how we're just sort of just making these sort of high lows, high lows, high lows through here. If I go to my hourly chart, you'll be able to see that through there a bit more nicer. So there's higher lows, but if we do start to break down, you can see how, if I just take this off the screen here, you can see how we actually had this resistance level up here on this is the hourly chart through here, right? This resistance, hit resistance, we're squeezing up into a triangle pattern. So if we do start to break down out of this level here on this triangle pattern, then that'll see more downside to come. And you can see what's happening through there. So I do see that we're probably likely to start to see a bit of a drop from here. If we do start to drop, then we're probably likely to see this thing continuing down even more. And the Nasdaq as well too. Nasdaq's a bit of a harder one. Even if we did get a bit of a pullback, Nasdaq is probably likely to hold up the strongest because it actually hasn't had that much of a rally. So once again, I do see a bit of a pullback, but we're 1 or 2 or 3 days, maybe even for a week pullback. And then probably from now through to the mid of April, we're probably likely to see the peak of what's happening around the world, especially in America. And then I see this thing rallying towards the middle of April. I see this thing actually really starting to pick up with the rally. And then by the middle of May, we would be sort of well into the rally. And then into June, we would have had a very nice rally by that time. And that's what I'm seeing through there, guys. And so we'll just see what happens through there. So that's what I'm seeing right now. Let's go over to silver and gold. I'll start with gold. Gold, I actually said that I'm actually seeing a bit of a pullback like it happened. And whambo bambo, look what actually happened, right? We had this sort of sideways movement, came down, came back up, and now we've actually dropped back down. So I actually see a bit more downside to come out of gold, but I do see this thing probably likely to hold where we are right now. And then continue up. The thing you don't want to see with gold is that if we start to break below this 1540 level, then that's going to break back well below this level through here, and then we're probably likely to see a lot more downside to come there. So I do see a bit more of a pullback coming out of gold. And if we go to our GLD there, you can see what's happening here with the GLD. But I do see gold is probably likely to hold here. Same through here. We're probably likely to have a bit more pullback, but gold's probably likely to hold and then continue rallying back up from there. But we are getting that pullback here that I did expect. And silver is just pretty much holding this level through here quite nicely. We do have a bit of a downtrend through here, but we had a nice rally up, and now we're just going sideways through here. So depending on where the breakout's going to be, if we do break up, we're probably likely to go for a nice move up. If we do break down, again, no one knows, but when you do get the break, that tells you the probability of that being the move through there. All right, so that's what I'm seeing through there. On to the gold stocks. Gold stocks is still, we're creating this sort of upward movement through here, but we have this downward movement through here. It's really interesting to see what's going on here. We are slightly breaking out of this level through here. What would be very bullish to see to this one here, now it's very, very difficult to see what's going to happen here, but if you did see this here, right, then if you did see this here, then we're probably likely, now if we did start to hold here and break back above say 27, that would be very, very bullish for the gold stocks, and also the GDXJ as well too. So we had a nice rally up through here. We had a bit of a here. If we hold here and get back above 36, that GDXJ that's a very, very, very bullish thing as well too, because this would be a bit of a trend reversal coming back into play then. And it'll be a nice high low breaking past these previous highs. Buyers are starting to come back in here. Right now, there's no one really in control right now, and it's very, very, very no one really in control through here. So there's still a chance of this actually having a bit of a fall to the downside on a short-term basis, and same for the GDX as well too. Once again, a bit of a short-term pullback, but I believe we're finding some form of a bottom here. In the gold stocks, just depends on when this thing is likely to rally and start a rally and actually start that rally out. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys, across the markets. Now, I want to teach you one powerful sort of chart reading or trading technique to use. One of the things that I absolutely love when you're trading, right, it's all about probability. There's no certainties. Now, when you're trading the markets, it's always important, right, to wait for the market to tell you what it's likely to do instead of you preempting. And that's the whole factor about trade what you see, not what you hope for. Now, if I bring up, say, for example, let me bring up this, say, AG here for a minute. Okay. And I'm going to use this AG here as an example back here, right? What is really, really, really important is that if you can focus on, again, powerful chart reading and trading technique, when you get a period of sideways movements, if the market's been coming down and then we get a sideways movement and then we get a very strong breakaway bar, and it looks something like this, right? So for bullishness, the market's been rallying up, we have a bit of a sideways movement for a week or 2 or 3 weeks, and then we get a nice breakaway bar, right? Very nice breakaway bar. Nice high probability trade for a 2 to 5 day trade. What I mean by that is that over the next 2 to 5 days, we're likely to see a nice move out of that. Bam. Same for the downside. Market comes down, goes sideways for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, and then gives you a very nice breakdown candle, right? But the candle must open. So the bar must open and also close. So open in the top third and close in the bottom third. For the bullish candle, it opens in the bottom third or the bullish bar and closes in the top third, right? It shows you strength. And if we can get a nice increase in volume, it's very, very, very probability. Like this one here, as you can see, it was actually the very next day. The very next day actually gapped down. Again, this is a short-term pattern for a short-term trade. And as you can see, it actually just gapped down one day. That'll be that trade done and dusted, right? Because we had a nice move. You should have received that over a 2 to 3 day move, but because it gapped down, that would have been the trade there, done and dusted. But as you can see, it actually then started continuing down even more past that. But the short-term trade would have been in and out one day. There are in this day, out this day. That's your trade done and dusted, right? Again, short-term plays. This is not about getting home runs or big fish. This is about having consistent, reliable trades that can give you nice, consistent, profitable trades as well too, right? And if I go back to a trade that I actually took as well too, which was last year, this one right here, right? Same. Remember I said before, same for the bullish side. This one right here, as you can see, nice upward trend, nice sideways period, not much going on, and then this nice breakaway bar, an increase in volume, as you can see, right? And then as you can see, the market then started to continue on very, very nicely through there. Make sense? So there is one powerful sort of pattern and chart reading and trading technique you can use to start to apply to benefit your odds, right? Because what trading is all about, guys, is probability. Okay, it's all about probability. There is no certainties in the markets. There is no guarantees in the markets. But if we can start to see patterns like this, then there's a probability that we are likely to see a very nice move in the markets, okay? Now, the way that you trade something like this is simply this, okay? Let's say you have a trading account, and I'm just going to use, say you have a $10,000 trading account, all right? What you would do is that you would be trading this, but I would say trade options with this, right? That's what me and my private clients do. We trade options. And the reason why is because this move here doesn't look much. But when you start to trade money with options, you're in this day towards the close, and you might 1 or 2 days later, even if you're in 2 to 5 days, so this here, 2 to 5 days, 2 days later, moved up nicely. This move here would be anywhere between a 60 and 100% return, depending on the volatility. Now, again, that doesn't sound like much, but before you know it, you start to accumulate that sort of effect, right? And so I would say have very small risks. I would say 5% of your account goes onto one trade, where you're gonna, and it's all about protecting yourself, right? And then before you know it, you made anywhere between $250 and $500 on this one trade. Now, it's not a lot of money, no, but guys, I'm not talking about getting rich here. I'm talking about how do you trade something like this that over the year you can say, wow, you can build something up. If you can get to a point where you have a much bigger account, then you can slowly grow it. Now, based on what I just said there, your emotional boundary will test you, because if you're just starting to trade out, if you're just starting to trade out and then you start to try to trade a $10,000 trade straight away, and even if you did have $1 million trading account or a $100,000 trading account, guess what? Your emotional boundary is going to be tested even with this type of trade. Why? Because one, you're not confident enough, and two, you're not there yet, right? So that's why I say always start with a $500 trade, even with a $10,000 trading account. Right, and this is how I actually originally started when I first started actually getting ahead in the markets. Because my first 2 years were horrible, but when I actually started getting ahead in the markets and I had a $10,000 trading account, I'd be doing $500 trades for 2 or 3 or 4 months to make sure I was doing the right and I was getting a very high win-loss ratio, which when I first started doing well, I got about a 70% win-loss ratio. The average win was about 70%. So you had the average win was a 70% profit, and my average loss was about a 25% loss. So as you can see, with a 70% success rate and these types of trades, I was doing really well, right? And then guess what happened? Then I was confident, and then I started going to $1,000 trades. And then with this account, and then I started going to $2,000 trades, which was 20% of my account, on each individual trade that I was taking there. And before you know it, then this account became $20,000. And before you know it, over the year or 2 years, I started building this up to $2,000 trading account, being disciplined. Then I started trading $4,000 a trade. And before you know it, all I really needed was 1 to 2 good trades throughout the month for me personally to start to live off this full time. Makes sense? And then that's the way it works. Now, obviously, you have your losses in there as well too. But if you could start to see how that works overall. Now, with this pattern here, guys, guess that the hardest thing for you is that the pattern that I just shared with you there, guys, and this here. This is a very basic version of the way that my number one trading strategy. Again, you get access to that. For the 2 people that take me out to take up the $2,500 75% off coaching, which is the very first thing in the description. The hardest thing that you're going to have, right, is that doing nothing in the times when there's nothing here, right? So you might have 1 month where you have 10 trades. The second month you might have 3 trades. The third month you might have 0. Fourth month, that should be 0 trades. Fourth month you might have 0 trades. Fifth month you have 6 trades. Oh my goodness, the 6th month there was actually 15 trades. See what I'm saying there? That is the life of a trader. You never know upfront. So that's why I say never try to set a monthly target when you're trading. Don't do that. Because if you're trading a system, sometimes the system's going to show up a lot throughout that month, and the next month it might be very quiet, right? Like for me and my private clients, right? Like if I look at, say, for example, one of my clients named Frank. Frank's done 50% return on his entire account just this last 3 months. He's one of my private clients there. But if you look at with my trading system, in January, okay, in January and February, we absolutely crushed it. We absolutely knocked it out of the park, smashed it out of the park. We had so many good trades, and a lot of them was really, really, really successful. And we had a really good start of the year, right? Guess what happened in March? 0 trades, absolutely 0 trades. But then guess what actually happened today? Today there was 1 trade that I actually took today, right? And so I'm in that today. So that's the life of a trader, right? So what's going to happen for the rest of this month? I don't know. My job is just to wait for these really nice setups and take them. And then I take them with good risk management and so on and so forth. So there we go, guys. That's sort of the life of a trader as well too. 1, they have just a simple pattern. 2, that they know most of the time it's going to generate a profit, and some of the times it's going to have a loss. You can never know up front when it is. So stop trying to be right with the markets. My mentor always said to me, people would rather be right than rich, and I never got that. And and after trading in these markets for so long, I finally got it. And what he was saying was that people have a trading system, but even though it meets the rules, they won't want to get in because they're scared of having a losing trade. Guess what? You're going to have some losing trades. But I guarantee you, Murphy's Law is the trades you don't get into, and you guys have probably been here before, right? The trades you don't get into because you think it's going to be a good trade, throwing your thoughts at it, you think it's going to be a losing trade, ends up running up for a really nice profit, and the trade you're 100% certain that's going to make a profit ends up making a big loss. It's like Murphy's Law, right? So you can never know up front. So your job is not to think. Your job is just to take it and say to yourself, you know what, I'm taking this trade right now. Am I protecting myself if it is a losing trade? And so that's the life of a trader there, guys, and that's the pattern there, guys. Again, guys, with my private coaching, I teach you a lot more. Every week I'm doing weekly group coaching sessions on stuff like this and the trading system, live Q&A and so on and so forth as well too. Again, first 2 people, guys, very first thing in the description, get it. And again, you may go over there right now to the actual to the page with the order form, and also what's on there, and it may say sorry, sold out. And if it is, I apologize. I'm only allowing 2 people in just to help some people out there, because I've been getting so many emails. Let's actually walk you through some tech companies right now. So let's start with Amazon. And Amazon right now is very, 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 very strong. Very strong in the market. Look at this here, right? Look how sideways this has been here. We have had a bit of a breakdown, hit this long-term resistance and broke back up. Now, the thing about Amazon, right, is this. Is that right now, if Amazon can start to break back above, say it's 2,000 and get back above 2,100, then Amazon is on its way up to, oh, there you go, almost there. I'd say 2,000, it says 2,400. So just below that, or even maybe, yeah, that 2,400, it's probably up to, I've already got the line there. Isn't that interesting? Weekly chart. Yeah. So and it's probably actually going to go a lot more than that as well too. The reason why is we see how we've actually had a lot of time just not doing nothing with Amazon. Really, we've had pretty much over 12 months, almost 2 years, right? Almost 2 years worth of not doing nothing. So when we do break out, Amazon's likely to go crazy. So wow, Amazon's going to be a really, 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 really top stock to be part of, guys. And I do see that likely to happen there. So that's basically what I'm seeing there with Amazon. Let's go have a look at, say, Netflix. Netflix is a really, really another company that I'm looking at as well too. If I go to my weekly chart once again, look at this squeezing up into this triangle pattern, right? We had this resistance point through here. We had all this support level coming through here. We're squeezing up on the Netflix. If we can get above, say, this 400 level, then we're on our way to about 550. That's my projection of where I see it going. Let's have a look at Facebook. Facebook is one that's a bit of a, I'm not too quite sure, right? There's no real good, strong thing in Facebook, right? We came back down to found a bit of support here. We are at this major level of support. So if we can actually get a bit of a higher low through here, what I mean by that is that we get a bit of a backing pattern, and then it holds, and then we start to do that and break past this level through here, where we have a low, a high low, then breaking past. That there would be very nice, and that there would tell me that we're probably likely then come back up and then come and close this gap. So for me to get involved with Facebook at all, we'd want to start to see something like that, and then we're probably likely to see a move up. So let the market tell you what it wants to do. On a short-term basis, guys, I actually see Facebook actually having a bit of a pull back. Did I do Microsoft? Have I done Microsoft yet? No, not yet. But this is Microsoft on a let me do this stream through here. Right, so there. We did have a lot of support and resistance through here. Let's have a look here with Microsoft. Right, so Microsoft has actually come back down to this level of major support level here. We've had a rallied up, as you can see. So once again, same with Facebook as well too. Microsoft's not giving me, it seems Amazon and Netflix are giving me very strong pattern formations that tell me if we start to break out, we're likely to go for a big run. Facebook, that's the pattern I'd like to see if I'd want to get involved with that. And same for Microsoft. I would want to start to see something like a bit of a pullback first. Then especially if I can get this pattern, that'd be very powerful. If I can get a pullback here, right, a pullback, and then a whole bunch of small bars, and then a very nice breakaway bar, a very nice large bar, that'll tell me we're likely to then race back up to the top up here. Which I think most companies are going to make a run for their resistance level anyway. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys. I'm thinking about some other companies here, say IBM. Not many people talk about IBM, do they? IBM's actually absolutely been smashed lately, as you can see. You can see how it's actually, we're having a bit of a, a bit of a channel through here. Yeah, I wouldn't touch IBM. IBM is a massive downward trend, so I wouldn't be wanting to touch that. So this little rally here, yeah, again, there's nothing there with IBM. So that's that there. So the company I was talking about there, guys, when I said the one stock to never short, and you probably see that I left it out for a reason, is that I would never want to be short or try to bet against this particular company, and that is Apple. I would not want to be getting involved with Apple. I do see Apple's probably likely to have a bit of a short-term pullback through here, but I do see a lot of strength through here with Apple. I would not want to be personally trying to trade against Apple, guys. They're one of the most successful companies out there, and they have so much cash at hand that not only not only are they ready for anything financially, but also they're, as you know, right, they've already got 42 stores open up in China already, and they're starting to slowly up even more, online sales and so on and so forth, right? So that's one company that I definitely wouldn't want to be trying to go short right now. Short in the company. Maybe for the short term, guys, we're going to get that drop, which I do believe. But over the next 1 or 2 years, that's one company that that I would never short. Again, you may be right for a short time, but what I do see, what I do see is that Apple, Amazon, Netflix, these type of stocks are probably the top companies out there right now that are going to weather the storm the most, especially Amazon and Netflix. But Apple's one of those companies, guys, that no matter what happens with them financially, guess what? They've got so much cash on here. They can really take care of things and it not affect their bottom line at all. So there we go, guys. That's what I see for there, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Just a quick recap. Short-term pullback in the actual stock market. I see that happening. Silver and gold stocks. See a bit of a pullback happening there as well too. I taught you that chart reading technique, or the trading system, the sort of the trading pattern and the trading techniques there as well too. I walked through some tech stocks with you, and also one stock that I would never short if I was looking to. I was going to say if I was an investor, but I wouldn't want to short this company anyway, even with put options. Maybe again short term, but over the next 12 months, 2 years, this thing's probably likely to make new highs and just keep going, because it's that type of company. So, but out of all the tech stocks, Netflix and also Amazon are probably likely to make the best moves leading the next 12 months. Towards the end of this year and also towards the end of next year. So there we go, guys. Once again, guys, the very first 2 people get my coaching program for 75% off. Click on that link in the description below right now. Go over and check the order form, and if it's still open, then grab your spot right now. And if not, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like button, leave a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are about what I've talked about in today's video.